The future is bright. In the future, AI will do all of the jobs that we don't want to do so we can relax and have fun. Well, that is certainly one optimistic picture of the future. The other one, of course, is that the AI will take most of our jobs and that unemployment will rise and only a select group of society will have gainful employment. Of course, the truth is probably somewhere in between, and I'm sure we could get AI to calculate the odds for us. A group who's done a lot of work and research into this topic is Maxim Institute. Tim Wilson from Maxim joins me now. Tim, kia ora.
Kia ora, and I'm sure somewhere in a laboratory they're working on an AI replacement for both of us, Andrew. So don't worry. The robot. I guess the point is that, and this is the point we make in the paper.
Yeah.
Is it's not that the robots are coming. The robots are actually here.
Yeah.
And so it's not something we think, oh, we might need to deal with it. We do need to deal with it.
And hey, let's look at some of the probability and statistics on this one. And hey, fascinating article. Gone for good: AI in the future of work. Rather than be alarmist about it, let's break it down. What sort of jobs will AI be able to do? How fast is this happening? I mean, honestly, it does make sobering reading. Within the next decade, 10 to 40% of jobs will be done by AI that are done by people today?
Yeah, well, within the next 5 to 10 years. And there's a variety of scenarios. We've chosen the fairly cautious. We're looking at we're saying 10%.
Okay.
Of particular jobs. So you're looking at secretarial, administration, customer service jobs, etc. You look, say, for example, even manufacturing. So there are about 30,000 jobs in manufacturing in our country at the moment. You take 10% of that. And that's, as I say, that's cautious. Then you're looking at a job loss of 3,000. You're looking at, well, actually, if you actually no, I think there actually might be more with manufacturing. So forgive me on that. But financial and insurance services, 92,000 people are working on there. That's a job loss of 9,200 people. So it actually will be larger for manufacturing. Forgive me, I got that wrong.
Yep.
But the basis of that is a 10% reduction. Whereas the IMF has said, look, it may be as high as 40%. It may be as high as 60% in countries that are technologically advanced, and we would categorize New Zealand as one such country. So yeah, it's very sobering.
When it comes to the sorts of jobs, because as you're indicating, some jobs are the low-hanging fruit for AI, and honestly, maybe they're the sort of jobs which people don't necessarily want to do anyway. Warehousing can be automated. Insurance forms, well, you can have an online bot on that rather than back office staff. These are the obvious ones to go for, but then, I mean, you opened up by saying, hey, radio presenters, journalists, these sorts of people, watch your back.
Yeah. And look, there's a couple of really interesting things that you've raised there, which is about people doing the jobs that they don't want to do. And there's a character and formation issue there. Let's get to that a bit later. But we're also saying we're also seeing that, for example, complex tasks in areas like law, finance, journalism, etc., could be automated. But even, and this has been fascinating, our researcher, Dr. Paul Henderson, has said even roles like surgery, even flying a plane, at which point everyone recoils and go, I don't want to fly on a plane flown by a robot. Actually, it's already happening with some of the American fighter jets, the F-35. If the pilot is wounded, incapacitated, that plane can land itself. And we already rely hugely on technology. There's a leap of faith there that we take anyway to get into a plane. One of the points that Paul makes in the paper is that AI will essentially be invisible. It'll be like electricity. Now, the difference is that for mass adoption, electricity, and it's sort of a different kind of a quality in a way. electricity took 60 years for mass adoption.
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT got 100 million users in 2 months.
Wow. Yeah, no, it is moving a little bit faster, and some of the irony of this is that we're using AI tools to predict what the future with AI looks like. Fascinating article, but I noticed that the graphic image that you use for that article, recommend that people check that out, maxim.org.nz. There's far too many people in that image. In my opinion, Tim, there's surely you wouldn't have to have bright young things looking at screens in the future. That'll all be done by AI without anybody having to look at it.
Well, it might be the bright young things who are looking at the screens, in the sense that young people, sort of digital natives, a lot more comfortable with artificial intelligence. Let's remember, it is an apparatus that can add efficiency.
Yep.
So if young people are able to be in, because they're more, we teach an internship. We have an internship at Maxim, and Paul, who's also on that, is saying he's seeing that the young people have their AIs open. Mm-hmm. They're answering questions that he's raising. They're using it. They're interacting with with those platforms, and so I think there is there is some possibility that this generation may be able to take advantage. The young may be able to take advantage. What's interesting will be the way that businesses are able to induct people into it. And we've all had that whiteboard meeting. Yep. Where someone said, I've got this great new technology. It's going to change our lives. And guess what? It just makes for more damn work.
Yeah.
But if we can induct the use of AI properly and be aware of the tasks that it may be able to help with, then ideally we can focus on things that are more creative, more stimulating, and through that add value.
I mean, there's possibilities in the future for us to be doing different things, perhaps some of which we don't know about yet. Just wanting to focus a little bit, though, on what we could lose through this. And you touched on this before, yep. Tim, that sense of community, that sense of a work ethic that we get through turning up to work and having colleagues that we're rubbing shoulders with, and hey, the robots may be more efficient at it, but there's a human connection and sense of community that we get from our workplaces now that, of course, AI can't replicate, or can it?
Yeah. Well, I think what you're talking about is the formational aspect of work.
Yeah.
And look, I'm Catholic, but I'm an enthusiastic supporter of the Protestant work ethic, which is that work in a way is a positive thing, that it can shape us for the better and actually build character, and that's going to be an issue. It's there's sort of two issues there. If we're looking at these 10, possibly 40% unemployment rates in certain sectors, is number one, how are we going to feed and accommodate those people? Number two, what then will they do that is able to shape them in the way that getting up on time, getting to work, working on a project with someone whom you don't really like. I know you probably don't have that problem at Rhema.
Certainly not.
And of course, we have no problem like that here at Maxim. But people that you don't always share a commonality with, you have to build a bridge, and it actually, it extends you and builds character. So what are the mechanisms then? And you mentioned, wider community. I'm interested, say, in that space. If there is greater leisure, then maybe that's an area where people will, maybe they'll volunteer at the local sports club. Maybe they'll spend more time washing the floor of their local church, etc., alongside someone whom they don't really agree theologically with. But something will come of that. So I think it's how we manage it.
Greater leisure can also mean unemployment, which brings its own problems. But I suppose wanting to look at the positive side, and end with a positive take on this. Who's safe, at least for the time being? What are the sorts of jobs? What are the important things in our society which AI can't do? What's the human touch that's needed going forward, do you think, Tim?
Well, I think you've really hit on it there, which is those jobs that involve, at their essence, the human contact. So we're talking about, say, when I was talking about law, that's dealing with huge amounts of data and being able to summarize and maybe make a few suggestions about how to negotiate through that according to legal precedent.
Yep.
That's all a data manipulation job. But when it comes to someone like nursing, for example, that requires genuine human touch, genuine empathy. Here's the thing, the robots aren't particularly empathetic yet. They may well get to be empathetic, but I think those jobs, we could even say that there will be a rehumanization of the workforce. But yeah, I would say any relational job you have, and any job where your experience rather than your ability to consume, regurgitate, and cleanse data, your human experience is necessary at the core of it. Then that will be. I can't see necessarily. I can't see counselors, for example, quite yet, and I mean good ones, not sort of not all of them. But I can't see robots taking over there just yet. But there are. It's interesting though. There are. I'm thinking of a thing called Think Ladder, which actually helps people through certain questions about personal issues.
Yep.
So the AI is already there in some sense. So it's just I think it's those it will be those relational jobs, those human touch jobs that are safe for the meantime.
And hey, maybe not a bad thing for us to, as communities, as workplaces, to lean in to some of those soft skills, some of those human skills. I'm quite grateful for being of an age where hopefully by the time this kicks in, I can sit back and let the machines look after me, Tim. But hey, would thoroughly recommend people check out this report on the Maxim website, maxim.org.nz. Certainly some food for thought, and perhaps a chat around the lunch table at work. Do check it out. Tim, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. You could actually do what you just did, which is like the Russian roulette. Which robot is going to take your job? Which will help you think about what job you might actually like to do. Yeah. So we'll see about that. Good to talk, Andrew. Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.